kindness comes in the form of your body language. It's not just, action, but it's your body language, it's your tone, it's, how genuine you are when you're working with others. And so those are all important characteristics that I try to exhibit when I'm working with everyone, anyone, professionally or personally.
Welcome to Oxygen for Educators, part of the Ripple Maker Project. I'm one of your co-hosts, Michelle Kinder, and you'll meet the other host, Chris Kent Phelps, in just a bit. This podcast is about hearing from educators across the country and giving visibility to the people doing the heavy lifting by hearing directly from them how they have found strength, courage, purpose, and well-being. This is also a platform for educators to begin clawing back the narrative of what's actually happening in education. Occasionally, we will also interview fans of educators who want you to know how incredible you are and how much what you do matters. A hearty welcome. This space is for you. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm good.
It's uncharacteristically cold here in Dallas for our listeners, so we're all being extremely dramatic.
That's what happens in Texas when it's cold.
Yes. Are you staying warm?
Yes, I am. My space heater, my blanket, I'm ready to talk.
Good. Yay. Tell everyone who we have today.
Okay, so today we're going to talk with Talisa Brown. She is an educator with Arlington ISD. She started as a teacher, went on to get her counseling credentials, and about 6 years ago moved into a leadership role at Arlington, where she leads a team of counselors, over 100 people on her team, and does it with grace and innovation, and we'll hear about some of that innovation today. I also would add, my observation is that Talisa comes from a legacy of kindness. I love those words. Mm-hmm. And she's also very, very driven by impact, which I think was the influence to go from teacher into this leadership role. So looking forward to hearing your conversation with her.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's hear it.
Okay.
Hi, Talisa. Good to see you.
Hello, Michelle. I'm so excited to be here today.
I'm so excited to be here today, too. For the listeners to know, this is you and I's first time to meet, but Katie, who's our producer, met you and couldn't stop talking about you.
Oh my gosh, she's so kind.
No, I mean, she's discerning. And so she saw something in you and in the way you lead that really caught her attention. So I was like, oh, so excited to talk to you.
Well, Michelle, I'm excited to speak with you as well.
Yay. Well, maybe start by giving folks a little bit of your story and how it zigged and zagged and ended up where it is today, 2025.
Oh gosh, I am one of those individuals who went to college to become a school teacher, an educator, and I stuck with it. Many times we go to college our freshman year, after those, first, second semester courses, we decide to make a change. Well, for me, I went into college knowing that I wanted to become an educator, and I stuck with it. So I received my bachelor's degree in interdisciplinary studies from the University of North Texas. And from there, I began teaching in Dallas Independent School District. It was really just a joy to start working in Dallas ISD because I'm a product of Dallas ISD. I grew up in Oak Cliff, Texas, and I went to school in Dallas. And so just going back and being able to give back what I received was such a joy. And so after teaching for a few years, I decided, I want to make a bigger impact. I have this small classroom of students that I'm working with. I want to work with students a little bit, more students, make a bigger impact. And so I went back and started working on my master's degree, received my master's in school counseling from Dallas Baptist University. And shortly after I received my degree, I transitioned into becoming a school counselor. I was an elementary school counselor for about 5 to 6 years. And Then I transitioned to become a middle school, junior high school counselor. And then from there, I went into high school counseling. And all three levels I loved. I did not leave teaching because I didn't like teaching. I really enjoyed teaching, but I just wanted to make a larger impact with more students. After becoming a high school counselor, honestly, Michelle, I thought that was my stop. That was where I was going to stop. And from there, I was going to transition to retire. Never thought that I would go into a leadership role that I'm in now. Maybe about 5 or 6 years after becoming a high school counselor, the opportunity came up for me to go into leadership in Arlington ISD. So not only did I feel I was going to stay a school counselor until I retired, I had a lot of allegiance to Dallas Independent School District because I'm a product of Dallas, and I wanted to just stay there and retire. But God felt that there was some other opportunities for me outside of Dallas, so I took on applying, and I received a leadership position within Arlington ISD, and that's how I became what I am today, which is the director of the Guidance and Counseling Department. And Michelle, it was one of the best decisions that I made. I absolutely love what I do. I loved being a teacher. I loved being an elementary counselor, junior high, and high school counselor, and I absolutely love directing adults around their counseling programs.
Incredible. Incredible.
Yeah.
Tell us what you wish you'd known when you first took this job that you now know.
I think I knew this, but I didn't really take it to heart that it's different working with adults. I wish I would have kind of really marinated on that and really, I guess, put some strong pieces in place as far as me and my heart, and knowing that, it's going to be different working with adults. When I first came into the leadership role in Arlington, I really missed the kids. But I was able to really refocus my role to, yes, I'm working with adults, but I get out there on campuses sometime. And, sometimes it's not always fun, because we are doing crisis response. But there are times that I am going on campuses, really working with our counselors and programs and initiatives that they're doing on their campuses. So I get that love for kids back when I'm on the campus. Yeah. But I do wish I would have really focused on the fact that, wow, it's going to be different working with adults, and really truly marinated on that so that I could be okay with it. Be okay with it, if that makes sense.
It makes total sense. And how long have you been in the current role?
This is my 6th year.
Yeah. So, wow. So you shepherded the entire counseling community of Arlington ISD through everything the country's been through in the last 6 years.
Unfortunately, yes. We've been through a lot, with COVID, and it's just a lot that's gone on. And yes, I was the leader of the department during that time.
Incredible. What did you notice, or what have you noticed over this arc of 6 years that has changed in terms of what the adults doing this work need? Does that make sense?
It does. And I would say, first off, I'll start out with me. I am a totally different leader than I was when I onboarded into this position 6 years ago. My thought process is different. I came from working at a campus, and my focus and lens was a campus, and I had to transition. And that could be one thing too that I wish I would have really known prior to coming in. And I knew it, but just really, like I said earlier, marinated on it, that you have to have a system lens when you're making decisions in this role. And so I think that counselors have changed from the time that I came in, just as I have. We're just really a little bit more patient. We are a little bit more aware of the need and the necessity of having mental health supports on campuses. Not that we didn't know it then, because that was our scope, but I think now we even see it more. And just really focusing on working with students and ensuring students have the supports that they need. Not only that mental health supports, but just well-being as a whole. We have a lot of our homeless population here in Arlington ISD is high, and just making sure that those kids have what they need so that they can be successful academically. In order to be successful academically, you have to have all those other pieces in place.
Love that. And you seem, from what Katie talks about, to have just almost like a bone marrow level understanding of the parallel process of that if the counselors aren't getting their needs met, they can't meet the needs on their campus.
Right.
Tell us how you came to understand that at such a deep level and what it looks like for you.
Well, I think just ensuring that I, as a leader of our guidance and counseling department, I am ensuring that our counselors are receiving the trainings that they need. I want them to feel comfortable when they're working with students. I want to make sure that I'm providing resources for them, just support. Sometimes they just need a listening ear, someone just to speak with and talk with. So being an active listener when I'm working with counselors. Not only am I working with our counselors within Arlington, and we have probably about over 120 counselors, elementary through high school, but I have an amazing team of specialists and I have a coordinator. So it's not just Talisa Brown that's providing those supports, resources, trainings, that active listening ear, but it's also my team. And honestly, I really contribute a lot of the success of my department to my team because they do an amazing job supporting our counselors.
Wow. You are so other focused. I imagine you would never brag on yourself, but tell us something you've heard from one of the people on your team or one of the counselors or a student that really made you feel like, oh, I'm working from a place of purpose, like I'm doing what I'm meant to do in the world, like some feedback you got from someone.
It's funny you asked that question because even prior to coming into this leadership role as a school counselor, even as a teacher, I would hear others tell me, you are a natural leader, you're kind, you're respectful, you consider others when you're making your decisions. And I never really understood that or really focused on it, I guess, when I was a teacher and a school counselor. But now that I'm in a leadership role as I am now, and I did leadership things as a school counselor. I was a lead counselor. I was a department lead when I was a teacher. But leading in this capacity, I understand now what others meant when they said that. Because right now, working in this role, you really have to be kind. You have to consider others when you're making decisions. As I stated earlier, you have to have that system view. How is this going to impact everyone? You know, of course, students is always at the top of that list, but that's all important. And I see it in a different lens now.
Wow. Do you know who in your life from early days kind of created that compass around kindness?
I would say my mother.
Yeah.
My mother was an educator as well. She was a teacher, and then in her later years of education, she became, at that time they were called visiting teachers, but basically it's kind of the same equivalent as a social worker. And so my mother has that same spirit, and she has always instilled in me and my siblings just the importance of being kind and respectful. And when others are appreciating you or doing things for you, you should always show appreciation and gratitude. And so I would say that kind piece came from my mother. And to this day, she's still such a sweet little lady.
Oh, what is her name?
Mary Perkins.
Mary Perkins. Will she
Yes.
listen to the interview?
I'm going to make sure she does. I will. I will make sure she
good.
does. Yeah, she's
Yay.
a sweet lady to this day.
And a legacy of kindness from her life into her children's lives. And now you have 4 children and a grandbaby, right?
I do. I have 4. I have 2 adult children, and then I have an 18-year-old, so he's almost there. I mean, 18 may be considered adult, but he's still in high school. He's a senior, and then I have a 14-year-old son. So I have 3 boys and 1 girl, and then I have a sweet grandbaby boy.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, they're
all the legacy of Mary Perkins.
Yes, all the legacy of Mary Perkins. And I now understand, I don't know if you're a grandma, but people always talk about being a grandparent and the difference it is in being a parent. So I totally see it now. I love that little boy so much.
Oh, it's pure joy.
It is. I love my kids too, but that little grandbaby is something different.
Oh, I love hearing that. Shifting a little because
Yes.
you caught my attention with just the new awareness of the immense needs on the campuses. As the last 5 years, that's just ramped up, I think, for everyone in this work. And you created the care clinic to
Oh
help meet
gosh.
that need. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the care clinic was birthed out of COVID. At the very end of COVID, when we were transitioning back to our campuses, back to the district level offices, the district felt we needed something to help support our adults at the time and our students with what was going on in our world.
Yeah.
And I had our senior leaders to come to me and they said, Talisa, we need some type of counseling support for our counselors and our teachers and staff. Can you make that happen? And I was like, okay. And so I contacted a really good friend of mine who worked for Arlington ISD for many years. Her name is Electra Kitchen. She had her own counseling business. And so she helped me build the infrastructure of the care clinic from the ground up. We came up with all of the systems, the guidelines. We came up with our theme and how we were going to onboard therapists and the type of clients we were going to see during that time. And as I stated at the time, we were also seeing adults. Because we were getting a lot of adult referrals, the district decided that we wanted to make the clinic a more student-focused clinic. And so we transitioned to providing other resources for our adults. We wanted to make sure they were still taken care of, but transitioning and only seeing students after the first year of the clinic. So the clinic is amazing. Right now, it's just a running program on its own now. We don't have to do a lot of work with it. We have about 30 to 40 therapists, just depending on the time of the year, because they come in and out. The students receive 5 free sessions. All of our, and I would say most, not all, but most of our therapists are employees of Arlington ISD. So to support our strategic plan to grow and develop others within our district, we are growing and developing some of our employees within our district. We have teachers who are LPC. Every therapist within our clinic has some type of licensure, be it an LPC, LMSW, LCSW. And these are individuals that work in our district in different capacity. Like I stated, we have a teacher who's an LPC. She's taught for many years, but decided, you know what, I want to, really work on utilizing my skills of counseling. That's the reason I got this LPC. So we were able to hire her into the clinic. All of our therapists work very diligently with our students. We have trainings for our therapists. It's run just like a private counseling agency. The therapists just don't have to worry about insurance and all those other logistical things because a lot of that's done at the district level.
Incredible innovation.
Yeah.
That just feels like such a strategic, clever move to meet the need while simultaneously developing and creating professional development opportunities for adults and low drama space for therapists to do their work where they're not swallowed up by insurance and all the headaches. It's so cool.
It is. It's been an amazing building this particular program for our district. I've had a really good time doing it. I've enjoyed doing it, and I just can really see the impact it's made. It's just been an amazing impact on our district, and I'm really happy and excited about it.
Yeah, a lot can happen in 5 counseling sessions.
It can, yeah.
And so to think that the students have access to that without an additional financial burden to their families, like that is really, like it would be impossible for us to quantify how many lives you've touched with that move that you made.
I agree. And we actually this year, last year actually, we were able to open a second location. So we have 2 locations, kind of one on the north side and one on the south or east and west, but one on each side of Arlington. And it just, makes it accommodating for parents because in order for these students to receive counseling, because all of this is done after hours, the parents have to bring them or the kids have to drive themselves for those who are driving. So we tried our best to think of all the barriers that will be in place to prevent our students to receiving the counseling. So this past year, we did open up a second location just to accommodate those kids who were not able to get on one side or the other of Arlington. So it's been an amazing, amazing opportunity for students, and also an amazing opportunity for our adults who are able to utilize that licensure through the clinic.
Yeah, really, really innovative and exciting to hear about.
Hi, I'm Katie Worden, producer of Oxygen for Educators. I want to spotlight our sponsor, TackieBox. TackieBox is an elementary school program that pairs innovative content with a tactile tool in daily practice to teach children to self-monitor their own words and actions and their responses to others. It's a proven tool that reduces behavior incidents by 66%. Through daily self-reflection, students build self-awareness, self-regulation, and meaningful connections. TackieBox is a light lift for teachers with a big impact on student well-being. Go to tackiebox.com to learn more and become a TackieBox district.
So when you think about the narratives in the news or just people who are separate from education and their idea of what they think is happening in the building, what gentle corrections would you make? Like, what would you be like, oh, if they only knew that this is what it's actually like? What would you want people to know and understand?
That we are making some very big differences in student lives. Sometimes we see the negative things that are going on in schools, but we have just an amazing teams on our campuses, starting with our principals. They're advocating, they're working hard. They are just doing things to ensure that their students are getting all of the resources that they need, not only academic resources, because that's important, but any resources that students need in order to be effective in their academics. Our school counselors are working hard. There's such strong support systems within our campuses. They wear many, many different hats, and I just wish people really, really knew or really understood the work that we do as educators and the impact that we're making on students.
It's like around every corner, there's a heroic story, I feel like. And unfortunately, it's the drama that gets more widely publicized, but in terms of like the life-changing day-to-day work, it's everywhere in schools. And
It is. And we have to think about thinking about what's going on in our world, and also coupled with, what we need to do to ensure that our students are successful when they leave us after, that senior year. It's just really important that we as educators are ensuring that we have program effectiveness when we're, implementing programs and initiatives on our campuses, that we are always advocating for our kids, that we're working very closely with our families, because we want families to also help with supporting our students. So I think that all of that's important, and of course, we're always making data-driven decisions and making sure that what we're doing is supported by data, is supported by our policies and our TEA and everything that we need to align our work with. And so it's very important that we are always working towards making sure that our students are successful. And our goal for our district is that 100% of our students graduate ready for college. And that's our goal.
When you were coming on the podcast, was there anything you were like, oh, I really want to make sure we cover blank or we speak to blank?
I would say probably I am in school counseling, so just the value of mental health and to respect it, because it's really real, and we have a lot of our students and adults that are struggling, and that struggle gets in the way of many people, be it our students or adults, being successful. So I'm so happy that Arlington ISD is prioritizing mental health. through our care clinic. We have resources that we're, onboarding for this upcoming year, and just even things that we're doing this year for our counselors to be able to support our students. So I would say I just really would love for everyone just to understand and know that mental health is so important. Being a person who has those resources and supports that you need to function is important. And if we have those things in place, I think our kids and adults can be successful in other areas.
I think that something about the last 5-6 years has brought that into focus for almost everyone. Like, I don't know anyone who's paying attention who hasn't had to rework their mental health recipe. And so because it's become so uncomfortable to ignore it, everyone seems to be paying attention to it differently, which I hope that's leading to then also, like you were saying, really respecting that work and respecting that it removes barriers for then students, teachers, counselors, everyone to be their best selves and to achieve their full potential.
Yeah, you said it in a great way. We want to always do what we can to remove barriers from students. We want to do our best as educators to ensure that they're successful. And whatever that means, be it counseling, be it tutoring, we want to make sure we have all of those resources and avenues for our kids.
So we have some rapid fire questions to wrap up, but I have to tell you, I hope people go to YouTube to experience your presence, not just audio, because I'm sitting here listening to you thinking, I want Telisa to be my boss. Like, I want to crawl in her lap. Like, you have the most comforting, just gentle, solid presence. And
Thank you.
And I'm picturing like how that feels to be on your team and to know that you've got them. It surely felt strongly.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I receive it. Thank you.
Awesome.
I don't know, do a good job always receiving, like you said, those compliments, those flowers, but I receive it.
Yeah. Well, it's sincere, so good.
Thank you.
All right. So do you have a go-to song or artist, something that you're like, oh, people need this on their playlist?
It's always going to be something that's motivational and uplifting. I think that's always good to have on your playlist. I'm trying to think of a song right now. I don't have one that I can just rap off to you real quick, but any song or any music that I listen to, for the most part, is going to be uplifting and motivating.
Chris, who's the co-host, she's going to love that because she really leans into music to sort of me too. I
actually do too. I love music. I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
It really shifts
all genres. It does.
Yes,
all genres. And so I can't just wrap off one to you real quick, but do know that it will be something that's motivating.
Yeah.
Something that's going to encourage me, keep me focused and grounded.
Yeah. It's a thoroughfare to the nervous system. Music is. It really can shift your nervous system state in a song.
I agree with you 100%.
Oh, that's great. Okay, next one. What helps you reset that would surprise the people who know you?
Probably time alone. And I say that because I have 4 kids, 2 are now adults, but they're still around a lot. And then I have the grandbaby and I have a husband, and I'm always with people, always. And so really what allows me to reset is when I'm in the car alone driving. Yeah. And I know it sounds kind of weird. I will have it silent, driving to work, driving home. That really allows me to decompress and just think, focus, and build up some energy to receive my family, or build up that energy to do well at work. So I would say time in the car alone.
That's fascinating. Eric Chandler, who we interviewed several weeks ago, said the same thing. He does silence in the car.
I do. And my husband got in the car with me one time, and he's like, why don't you have any music on? I said, you know what? That's just what I do when I'm in the car by myself.
Yeah.
Because I hear noise and sound all the time.
I mean, I feel like that's
Yeah.
such a huge thing that's missing from our culture is
Right. Silence.
silence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just time to be with your own thoughts and your own self. Yeah.
Yeah, I do that, I mean, honestly, often. I would leave work, get home, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, the music didn't come on at all. I didn't turn the radio on or turn it up or anything at all. So I love doing that, and that definitely resets me.
And you also are pointing out the importance of transitions, like really giving yourself that time in the car in silence from work to home,
Right.
can make a big difference in
I
mental
agree.
health.
I agree.
Awesome. Okay, so the next one is, do you this you kind of answered this already, but you might have more. Any daily rituals that you swear by?
Here lately, I would say number one, as I stated earlier, spending time with yourself. That's one. Exercising, and I know that's just kind of like what people always say, but it's really therapeutic for me. Not necessarily for weight loss, but of course, to stay healthy and just to release any energy, be it negative energy or to build up that positive energy. That works for me. So I do have here lately, recently, a walking ritual that I do on a daily basis, maybe 6 days a week, maybe one day out of the week I don't, but I try my best to do it every day. And it does allow me to just build up that energy, be it positive or remove negative energy so that I can be my best self. And that's important.
Yes, yes, moving that stuff through your body, or I love how you say it, also like bringing energy in, like is huge. Do you walk outside or do you treadmill it, or what?
I treadmilled it when it's cold because I'm not a cold person. I have a daughter who plays collegiate soccer, and she would tell me all the time, she's been playing soccer since she was 5, so she understands playing in all different weather, climate, but she would tell me all the time, Mommy, when I play in the cold, it hurts. And I'm like her, cold sometimes can hurt. And so I don't like walking in the cold. So I would treadmill it at the gym, or I also have a treadmill at home. But when it's nice and sunny and getting a little of that vitamin D, I will go outside and enjoy the sun and walk outside. The sun and nature is enjoyable to me.
Yeah, yeah, you get a triple hit. The exercise, sun, nature, boom.
Right.
Tell us where your daughter plays. What school?
Actually, she plays at the college that I attended, the University of North Texas. So she's on the women's soccer team there. She received a full scholarship, and my husband and I have not had to pay a penny to the University of North Texas.
Showing off. That's just mean.
Yeah, and she gets a stipend, and she has gotten a couple of NIL deals. So she's doing an amazing job. I'm very proud of her.
Wow, so proud. Yeah, that's remarkable.
It is. We're a huge soccer family. It all paid off. I will tell you that that did take a lot of our time, through the many years that she played. And we now have a son that's going down that same route. So it is very time consuming for parents, but it is a joy to see her on that field on the collegiate level.
Yeah, and she's close enough that you get to watch her play.
We do.
A lot,
We'll get a chance to. Yeah, Mr. Brown doesn't miss not one game now. Mrs. Brown does, but Mr. Brown goes to all of her games.
And there's just nothing better than that proud dad energy.
Yes, I agree. What our kids need, and that's why sometimes we as educators have to fill the gap, because we may not have, that presence of family members, parents. And that's just another thing that we do. I told you we wear many different hats. So filling that gap, because I would love for all of my kids here in Arlington ISD to be able to have that same love and that same presence as I'm able to give my own kids. So I try hard to do what I can within my role as an educator to provide students that same thing when they're with us.
And that's medicine. That's medicine.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Almost done, Telisa.
No, this is good.
You're doing amazing. I can't wait to listen to this again. What gives you hope and what gives you hives?
What gives me hope and let's see. I would say for hope, it would probably be the mantra that I try to live by, lead with purpose, serve with my heart, and I'm always working to uplift others with kindness. And I know I keep going back to the word kind. I just think that's so important, and we just need more of that. And so that's what gives me hope that what we're doing as school counselors, what I'm doing as a leader, I have hope that it's going to make a big difference and will ripple throughout many, many different people, ages, just students that come through our responsibility. What gives me hives is when we're not able to provide kids what they need. When kids are not getting what they need. When I see kids, out and about and they're not, they don't have what they need. That definitely gives me hives. I just want to take everybody in and just take care of them and give them what they need and make sure that they're safe and nourished. And I know I can't do that, but that's something that would probably give me hives. That I'm a huge advocate of children. Yeah. And I just love kids. I love working with kids, in every capacity of my life. Church, at home, when we have all the kids over at one time, the grandkids, I'm the one that's there working with them and playing with them and doing games with them. I just love children, and they can't always protect themselves, and so that gives me hives when kids are not able to have what they need or be able to protect themselves.
Yeah, it weighs on you, and man, do you make a difference in that equation every single day.
We try hard. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so you shared with us, lead with purpose, serve with heart, uplift with kindness.
Yes.
That's your mantra.
That's one of my mantras that I try to live by, especially within my professional work.
I mean, there's so much in that. Lead with purpose, serve with heart, uplift with kindness. Like,
it is.
Whoa.
Yeah, my leadership, I try to have a purpose. When I'm leading, when I'm talking, when I'm going on a campus, when I'm coaching, it always needs to have a purpose attached to it. What is the why? What is the reason? And then what would be the outcome? I want to serve with my heart. I try my best, Michelle, to treat others how I would want to be treated. And so I have a heart in everything that I'm passionate about. And education is one thing I'm passionate about. Helping and serving kids is what I'm passionate about. So I definitely use my heart to really serve others and to treat others, as I stated earlier, as I would want to be treated. And kindness is just important to me. I just think it's important to be kind. I'm not a pushover. I don't want you to think that. And I don't stand up when things need to be a little bit more stern. But I'm always doing it with a servant heart.
Yeah. And kindness... Kindness and strength are not opposite. Like, there's strength in kindness. And I feel like a lot of times people try to make it seem fluffy, but it's actually a really powerful signal to the nervous systems around us that they're safe when we interact with kindness, even if we're delivering hard news or difficult consequences or whatever.
That is so true. Kindness comes in the form of your body language. It's not just, action, but it's your body language, it's your tone, it's, how genuine you are when you're working with others. And so those are all important characteristics that I try to exhibit when I'm working with anyone, professionally or personally.
I mean, there's a reason I want to crawl through the screen and hug you. So I think you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
This has been amazing. I'm so grateful to you, and it's wonderful to picture you and the tentacles of your commitment and all the ways it impacts the people around you, your counselors, your team, the kids, everyone. And I'm just grateful you're in the world.
I am grateful to be in this position as well. I really am. I feel very blessed. And just to be able to make the difference district-wide is very, very rewarding. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we will wrap, and Chris and I will have an opportunity to talk about what stood out to us and what we learned from you. And we're just grateful for your time.
Well, thank you, Michelle. I really appreciate you inviting me to be a part of this platform. So thank you so much.
Thank you. You are amazing. All right, Chris, that was so interesting to me to watch back, and I hope folks will go watch her because she's such an example to me of the power of presence. And I imagine that comes through some in the audio, but seeing how she carries herself, and she just feels like grace embodied. So if people want to experience another level of her, I hope they'll go to YouTube. What did you
Agreed.
think?
I'm glad you said that too, because that's a great way to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to put into words.
Yeah. I just did it though, so you're welcome.
Gold star for you today.
I'm just kidding.
All right. So, what came up for you besides that, Michelle?
No, I already asked. You have to answer.
Okay, so where I would start is just the fact that kindness is a central theme for her. And again, she so unapologetically speaks about it and clearly equates it to strength. And that to me was very moving that she spoke about it that way. It reminded me of a personal hero. Who would that be, Michelle?
Maya Angelou?
Mr. Mr. Rogers.
Oh, yeah, sure. Him too. There's so many examples of that. But
Yes.
I put that in my notes as well. Like, how did she? Yes, she speaks directly to to that kindness doesn't equate to being a pushover. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I love your point about the unapologetic. It's like when she described a natural leader, that people gave her the feedback that she was a natural leader. She said that they noticed she was kind and considered others in her decision making. And it made me think about the different models for leadership that we have and the assumptions and what is it that actually works for people versus is just like an old construct. And I just felt like she was very evolved in having total clarity that a natural leader involves kindness and considering others and backbone, like a little of all of it.
And even the use of kind speech, or how she always used your name when she spoke to you, there's power in that. That makes you want to move a mountain for her. I mean, even just in the limited experience of watching you guys, she could get me to do what she wanted because
Did you
of
think
the way
it was...
she interacted.
No, I so agree, and I need to just do a friend check with you. Did you think it was awkward that I wanted to crawl into her lap and have her rock me?
All right.
Do you think that was because she used my name?
I laughed out loud when you said that. I was like, interesting word choice.
Yeah, HR.
Good thing we don't have that.
No, but I think it's what you're saying. It's like she sees leadership as seeing whoever's in front of her and helping them feel seen, felt, understood, all the signs of safety to the nervous system that are the basics. She modeled that, I think.
She did. And you made the comment in the discussion that you said you're so other focused, and that rang very true.
Yeah. Right. Amazing woman. What else? Anything else jump out?
Since we're talking about leadership, that brings up to me just her commitment to impact, and even talking about when she moved from being a teacher to working with adults and having to miss the kids, and it felt like grieve a little bit that was over and she was moving somewhere else. But because she was so focused on impact, and that's really what drove her, she made the choice to do that. And what was interesting to me, again, coming from a corporate world instead of an education world, personally, oftentimes it seems when people move into a leadership role, it's more of an ego play or a financial play and hers was just so altruistic. And there was also, it just didn't feel like there was any ego. It was about impact and meaning, and I liked that.
You froze up there for a minute, but I think your last word was impact. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. I hear you. And I like that she acknowledged that there was some adjustment and grief. Mm-hmm. I don't think she used that word, but
no, I think I put that word on her.
But
so
it feels like,
that was my observation. Just to say I missed the kids.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah. And I hope that there are people hearing her and her story and beginning to see themselves as possibly moving into other aspects of whatever system they're in to have more impact. And I don't mean that that's like better than wherever you are, but if that calls to them, that they can see themselves in it and that they can recognize that it's a process, that there are things to work through, that and that doesn't mean it's a no-go, that both can be true. It can be a process and a struggle and a trade-off, and it could be exactly where you're meant to be. Just how it felt with her. And maybe that's connected to her mantra. I loved her mantra: lead with purpose, serve with heart, uplift with kindness.
I loved that.
And it
I had
feels
a
like
feeling
it could
that
be
would
yours.
be one of your notes. Oh, I thought, I was
Yeah.
like, that's interesting that would be one of your notes. I expected it to.
Well, we're morphing into the same person, so that happens. But yeah, what I wish after the fact I had asked her is, where did that come from? Because I don't know if she crafted it, and if so, how, or if it's something she heard. But it just feels like each one of those chunks you could live by. But then the combination of them, I think, is what we experienced in her. It's like...
Say it one more time.
So lead with purpose, serve with heart, and uplift with kindness. Mm-hmm. Right? Like there's something about those three
combined
guiding her that is how she feels, at least in that hour. That's how she felt to me.
And also, it appears true to who she is. If those are the comments that people make about her and have always made about her, the kindness, the respect, like that's authentic to her, and that's probably part of what helped propel her into the role that she's in.
Yeah. Okay, was I right about her comment about uplifting music?
Thoroughfare. What did you say? I wrote that down. Music is a thoroughfare to the nervous system. I was just, I loved it. Yes, you were right.
Because that's so, like, I feel like you're plugged into its impact on you and using it as a tool more than most people I know. So when she said that, I was like, oh, Chris is going to love this.
That's because you've seen me levitate to Gary Floyd on the piano. You get it. But true. Yes, I love that. I love that. Okay, so one other.
Okay, wait, before you go to that. I want to share with people. Us on
track.
This is so on track. How dare you? This is something people can actually do with music. And I did this through a class I took in the nervous system. We had to make playlists, a playlist for dorsal vagal, which is that kind of like shut down space, like music that pulls us into that more somber, meditative, maybe even depressing, like want music. But sometimes that's yummy. Like sometimes that meets you where you are and you want to be there. I can see your face. You're like, oh my God, I don't. I never want to be there.
Well, I was just why would you purposefully do that?
Well, because it can create space for whatever's trying to emerge and then leave your body. I know that's not your favorite thing. But it can have some therapeutic
Therein lies the problem.
benefits. But so we had to create that playlist and then another playlist that's more like that sympathetic nervous system energy. So, you know, that fight or flight, like really mobilized energy, that music that that can kind of channel that righteous rage or whatever's going on for you, or maybe the not so righteous, whatever. And then we had to come up with a playlist that was about the sympathetic nervous system and that the ventral vagal part of the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic. Now I'm messing up. Okay. The ventral vagal, which is part of the parasympathetic. And that's more that safe and connected. So that's like songs that uplift you, make you feel like you're part of something bigger, like the stuff you love.
So my jam is what you're saying.
Your jam. That's like your whole playlist. And then this is cool. So people could do that if they want, or they could literally just start the 3 playlists. And then as they're listening to music they regularly listen to, pay attention to what part of your nervous system does that music speak to and pop it into the playlist. So you can build it over time. And then they had us combine all 3 into one playlist and shuffle and practice like what that feels like to move up and down the nervous system and like not have a rigid nervous system state, but a more flexible nervous system state. And to sort of like give yourself the experience of that if I go into a fight or flight or a shutdown, I can come back up to that safe and connected, but do it through music. It was so cool. I love
this.
And I still do it. There is one important thing. If you do that, you always want to end on a ventral vagal song. So you want to like, play with it, but then end with a song that puts you in that safe and connected space. So you don't like walk into work and turn over tables or whatever. Although some days, never in our work, obviously.
Do you have that exercise like written up, like instructions for it?
It comes from Deb Dana. That's where I learned it in her course. I don't remember if she wrote it up or not, but it's really, people can do it as they see fit. Like the big thing is becoming aware of the impact music has on your nervous system and then using it to pull yourself into different states depending on what you think your nervous system needs.
That's good oxygen for educators, I have to say. And that I love that too, because everybody in these interviews I feel like almost everyone has commented on music.
Yeah. We ask.
Leading the witness.
So that might be why. But yeah, but people have, I think everyone has really spoken in an authentic way to the power of music in their lives. So I do think that has been a theme. I love that.
I'm so glad that you shared that. Did you plan to share that, or did that just?
No. It just kind of came to my mind. Yeah.
I love that. That was great. Nice contribution.
Oh, I do try. Okay, where were you taking us? You were taking us somewhere.
Well, there was just one comment that's more just about who Talisa is as a human that jumped out for me, but she talked about wanting to fill the gap for kids who don't have what her kids have. And I thought that's a lot to carry, but it's also very beautiful. Kind of requires superhuman strength to wake up and feel that obligation, but she said it and offered that up with zero bitterness, no martyrdom, just that's part of who she is and the air that she breathes. And I loved that, so I just wanted to comment on that.
Yeah, it's like a guiding light for her. I love that too. And maybe the best way to end is just honoring her sweet mom and that Mary legacy Perkins. Of kindness. Yeah, that was so tender the way she talked about her mom. And yeah, I loved that. I did too. We didn't touch on the innovative. Nope, sorry, I already closed us. We're donesies. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I was going to say we just didn't talk about how innovative the care clinic was that they came up with. And that to me was interesting to think about her as an innovator, especially in the role, a brand new leadership role, to have faced that and developed that. That was just very interesting to me.
Same here. I was very taken by that. I remember working with so many schools over the decades where there was such clarity that the students needed more access to therapy, but it kind of just hit wall after wall after wall. And so to see an example, and I know Mesquite did this as well, of effective access to mental health services, it was really cool to hear. And that they were responding to the adults in the building and the needs that came out of COVID was also really encouraging to hear.
Well, and that's the reason we're doing this podcast, right? To try to help the adults in the building who need it.
Yeah, we see you, we love you, and we're so grateful for everything you do every day. That was one thing that we talked a little bit about with Talisa, is just how much the bad news gets airtime and how much good stuff is happening in schools. And boy, is she an example of that.
It's interesting that you said that, because I made a note your discussion with Talisa about the podcast and why we're doing this was, I don't think that was before it plays on the actual podcast. And you, if you think about the purpose and the why that she talked about, you stated our why for why we're doing this really clearly. And I even thought that should be the new intro. But that's what you said, to give people visibility into other people doing the work and how they found strength and courage and wisdom and clarity and all the things. And we really
super articulate
to claw back the narrative of what's happening in education, and let people feel seen. And I just really liked that. So
that's brilliant. Now, who said that?
So brilliant.
Bless us, everyone.
Oh, shall we sign off?
We definitely should before we lose every 5 listeners that we have. Like, that would be sad.
Stick with us, Ricardo. Stick with us.
Thanks so much, Chris.
Thank you. Stay warm.
You too. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Oxygen for Educators. Please like, share, and follow, and if inclined, leave us a 5-star review so that we can keep making content for you. Let us hear from you if you know someone we should interview or a topic we should cover.